We got Max Santana says, if you're against Ben, you're against crypto. Simple as that. I am in the process through, we are going to establish something called the Bitcoin Foundation. And I'm going to be the chairman, obviously, the Bitcoin Foundation. We don't want, eventually, maybe we move this to a DAO. I'm not 100% sure. That's not on my current roadmap. But Bitcoin is, if you watch the video on Saturday, just kind of fell into my lap. We loopholed into this thing. We're going to be finalizing that deal, hopefully by Thursday or Friday. It should be finalized by Thursday or Friday. I'm going to send some of my people out to where they need to go to complete the deal with Ben.eth, the guy who created it. Of course, you guys know he created a second project after that. A lot of people put a lot of money into it. So we'll see what happens there. But what I want to talk about is Bitcoin and just say that you guys know on this channel, we have been champions of crypto adoption, okay? We've done more for crypto adoption than probably any other channel out there, I would say. We're the only people going to Washington. We don't sit in the basement. We are establishing relationships with government officials. We are trying our best to get crypto adoption, but it's got to be a four-pronged process, and that's going to be the focus of Bitcoin. And I will go ahead and say, like, when we do officially release the roadmap, which will be after the deal is finalized, it will only be the roadmap for this year. And then we'll, during Q4, we'll release a new roadmap for next year. But what I will say is that aside from establishing Bitcoin Foundation, which is super, super, super exciting, what we want this to be, we want this to be the mechanism of crypto adoption. We talk about adoption all the time, but what does that mean? Well, it means a lot of things. It means people being aware of crypto and having a positive outlook on it. So what we're going to do, we're actually going to start some advertising campaigns even before the deal is finalized this week at Bitcoin Miami. So you guys can be watching out for some of those. All I'll say is, you want to look in the direction that you want crypto to go. How about that? That's what I'll say. That's your hint. That's your riddle. Some of y'all may figure that out. When you're there, you'll definitely figure it out. But guys, it's got to be a multifaceted process, okay? And we're going to attack all the main vectors, okay? Crypto news. We're going to work, now this will not be during quarter two here, but during Q3, we're going to start to establish, I don't want to call it a decentralized crypto news network. I'm going to call it an unbiased crypto news network that's going to compete with CoinDesk. On Saturday, I released Cointelegraph's going down, guys. Cointelegraph is going down. They fired half of their staff last week. And I know this because someone I know reached out to one of their top reporters and asked them the questions, and the person responded with no comment. So we know this is going on, okay? Cointelegraph is going down. CoinDesk isn't worth anything. CoinDesk, do you remember, TJ, when CoinDesk stopped doing press releases and stuff? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
They do them again.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I found that out at the conference this weekend. Wendy told me.
Yeah.
I didn't know. At some point, they'd established they weren't doing anything paid, and then I guess they never made an announcement, just started doing paid stuff again. So CoinDesk worth nothing. Cointelegraph is going down. The Block, they got paid $27 million from SPF and Alameda, right? Decrypt, I like Decrypt, actually. I would say Decrypt, to me, is the most trustworthy. I don't have anything to shoot holes in what they do. I think Decrypt is a good agency. Maybe we can partner with them in some ways. But we're going to establish an unbiased, I want it to be a nonprofit. I want the news division to be nonprofit. We might have other divisions of the site that maybe can generate some income, but the news side of it with the reporters, like, I want this to be unbiased, nonprofit, where you're getting information because the information exists, not because someone has an agenda. And that's what we see with CoinDesk, Digital Currency Group, right behind them, okay? Then we see, obviously, with Cointelegraph, Grisha Fishman. Look that name up. The original founder of Cointelegraph, early Bitcoin mining whale. The entire thing was designed to be a pump for Bitcoin in the beginning, and then for altcoins following that. They've covered massive amounts of rug pulls, and they've covered it up. So Cointelegraph going down. We are going to rise up, and we're going to make this community-driven, unbiased, okay? It's important people get the right information in crypto, okay? Number 2, government regulations. By the time that if Bitcoin is able to move where we think it's going to move, the potential that it has, there's not going to be a larger crypto lobbying behemoth than BitBoy Crypto and Bitcoin. The amount of money we're going to be able to pour into that, because guys, Bitcoin's not about profit. All the money coming from the liquidity pools is going to go towards crypto adoption. Now, we do have a backer. Backer gets 50%. So I can't speak about what they're going to do with their 50% of the liquidity pool profits that come in ETH. The Bitcoin that's split between the two of us will have thresholds, time locks, the whole thing. We'll give more details on that after the deal is done. So, there's going to be no dumping. But for our part of the liquidity pool profits, it's all going to crypto adoption. All of it. So much money is going to go to pro-crypto candidates, backing state-funded or state-sponsoring bills on the state level, maybe some federal stuff. We'll see what happens down the road. Okay. Number 3. So far we've got news, we have government regulations, we have number 3, education. If people don't understand what's happening in crypto, they have all these ideas that are misconstrued. We got to get an accredited course for crypto that goes in colleges, high schools, a middle school level, simple financial stuff to be in the elementary school level. We want to get something accredited that's going to establish the education. We're going to be having workshops, applications for people to run workshops that we'll pay for and fund and give materials for, okay? All across the United States and maybe beyond. We'll have to see. This is going to start in the United States. This is the big problem right now. The regulation in the United States is the big problem. Once we get that straightened out, we can move to international. If you are international, you have to understand how important the American regulation is to the future of crypto in the short term. Because if you remove the ability for Americans to invest in crypto, the market's going to have a hard time, okay? Number 4, okay? Number 4, along with the education, and also I will say this, we're going to put a copy of Catching Up to Crypto, my book, in every library in America. Every public library, and then later, potentially every high school library. So in every college library. Now, the profits from that, like I'm not going to take profits from buying my own book that come with a liquidity pool, okay? I'm not going to do that because I think that just sends the wrong message. That's like I'm pumping myself. No. We're going to take the profits from the book and we're going to roll them back in to the project. So I'm not making money on that, right? We are getting my book out. It's great awareness for me, but that's going to go for that. Number 4, public awareness. We are going to have, we got Max Santana says, if you're against Ben, you're against crypto. Simple as that. Accurate. Now, Bitcoin maximalists, they're going to hate it. They're going to absolutely hate it. Paul Mack, what can you do to help Ben? All you got to do is go, follow the socials. We got a Telegram group right now. We're eventually going to migrate that Telegram group over to my BitSquad crypto chat that we don't really use anymore. We're going to move that over there. There's a lot more people in there. We can revive those people in crypto. It can be a kind of a big explosion of attention. But what can you do? Just support. Defend us on Twitter. Defend us. Like push the message forward. Guys, this is not about the price of the coin. This is about crypto adoption. And obviously, when you see projects move forward, you see price advance. But what we're aiming for is projects on CoinMarketCap. I believe, and I really believe what I'm about to tell you. I believe this is a top 50 project easy. I believe top 10 to top 20, it's going to be very difficult. But I think the potential is there, especially top 20. But this is not a short-term thing, guys. This is a project that we're going to establish. If you're in a community of Cardano or XRP or Ethereum, or Polygon, for instance, or any of the projects that we love, trust, and support, then you're going to have a big opportunity for those communities to partner with us on number 4, our public awareness campaigns. We are going to absolutely change the paradigm for what people think about crypto. We're going to post, you guys see what's going to happen this week in Miami. We're going to post provocative messages to break down the false ideas that people have of crypto. I can't wait. We're going to be doing massive campaigns, public awareness, billboards, billboards in Times Square. We're going to do billboards around where Elizabeth Warren is, where Gary Gensler is, other anti-crypto people, okay? We're going to be challenging the ideas. It's not just going to be crypto, also Bitcoin specifically. We're going to have pro-Bitcoin messages. It's just not going to be only pro-Bitcoin, which that's why the maxis are going to be mad. The only people that will be against what we're doing by the time this is done are the maximalists that don't want crypto education out there. And I'll see plenty of them this week in Bitcoin Miami. They don't want crypto. They don't want crypto education. They want Bitcoin only education. Well, I don't believe a decentralized internet exists on Bitcoin. I believe it exists and will exist on Ethereum and Cardano. Gerardo Mejia, where do we buy? Look, I'm not. I got to be careful. I'm going to be the chairman of the Ben Foundation, but like I got to figure out like what I'm allowed to say and what I'm not allowed to say in terms of price and where to buy and stuff. I'm not going to be talking about price. I will tell you that I'm going to take a Charles Hoskinson route. I believe that the growth of this coin is going to be natural. It's going to be organic, and it's going to be over the long term. And this is not going to become a Ben channel either. We will talk about it sometimes when it's relevant, but every day I'm not going to come on here and intro with, but as we're moving towards establishing this deal, and of course, next week, I'm going to do a video on the roadmap and things like that. Like, we're going to talk about it like we talk about anything else, okay? But all you got to do is go here to CoinMarketCap, go to CoinMarketCap, and then just go to search Ben. Click on it. The logo will be changing too. Guys, I know some people love the dog. We're not a dog coin. This is not a meme coin, okay? This is not a meme coin. We're going to get far away. Most likely, we are doing a logo contest. And there is a chance that the community votes for a dog logo, which I don't believe they will. Then we could potentially have one, but most likely we've got a few directions that we're leaning in already. So just know that logo will be changed. Right now it's 26.57 on CoinMarketCap. If you go here and you go to markets, it will show you where it's tradable at. Uniswap, Poloniex, MEXC, LBank, CoinW, SuperX, and Uniswap V2. Now, here's the thing. I can tell you guys there are tons of exchanges coming. I've been contacted by some of the biggest exchanges out there, and I'll just go ahead and say, no, not Binance, okay? Binance has had to change the way they're listing. Binance is no longer the premier place you want your coin listed right now because their process for listing, because of the government, scrutinization that they're under, they're just much slower. So eventually, I'm sure Binance and Coinbase will list this coin. I believe that will happen down the road. We're not going to focus on those two. But some of the other biggest exchanges certainly have contacted with me. And my plan is to where we kind of roll these exchange listings out, as a process and not all at once. We don't want them all at once. So we're going to use this to keep the momentum going and stuff like that. So there will be many, many more exchanges at 5 to 8 that I've been talking to right now. Or part of my team or part of my mods, whatever it is. Ben.eth, when he was still in charge of it, he was talking to, got a lot of these deals already established. And then there's many, many more. So there will be plenty of places to buy it in the future. Right now, mostly decentralized exchanges. And then you have, MEXC, LBank, Poloniex are pretty respectable exchanges. Let's see. Confidence, the only one it says is moderate here is SuperX. But what I would say is this is until this thing is in my hands 100%, I can't tell you, it's not, this is what I want to say. It's not in my hands 100% right now. It's going to be in the hands of the Bitcoin Foundation, but it's going to be later in the week. So, and it's a holdup on my end. It's not a holdup on the other guys' end. It's just a matter of getting liquidity together and doing some deals, some OTC deals to make sure that we can pay off. It is a multi-million-dollar deal, and we're super excited about it and can't wait. So you don't need to have a place where I'm not trying to be use stereotypes here, but they eat burritos and tacos and stuff, right? Hispanic food down in El Salvador. You don't want someone to pay $3 for a taco, and then down the road that $3 is worth $50, right? An appreciating asset. I think it's a better move for these countries, and they have done this to their credit, establish Bitcoin in their treasuries, and also let's start looking at the idea of backing a currency with Bitcoin. Makes a lot more sense than having a slow network be your cash. That was Roger Vere's whole argument with Bitcoin Cash. So imagine the people dressed up as wizards. And look at this. Look at these fun. Guys, this is bringing the fun back to Bitcoin. Look at this. Michael Saylor, a picture, an homage, if you will. I wonder what Michael Saylor thinks about, look at that cat. I wonder what Michael Saylor thinks about Bitcoin ordinals.
We've completely rebuilt BitLab Academy from the ground up. It's nothing at all like the previous BitLab Academy. And we wanted to make sure that not only do we have courses for people that are further along their journey, they're trying to find those advanced trading strategies or learn new indicator systems or understand, psychology of trading, all those broad topics. We also wanted to make sure that we provided a platform that's easily accessible to anybody, beginner to pro, starting with the most basic definitions and blockchain 101, Bitcoin 101, self-custody. And we provide all that for free for anybody because we think, you and me, Ben and TJ, we've talked at length about not wanting to build BitLab just as something that's a profit stream, but more importantly, how do we provide a platform anybody can access? And if you just want to learn the basics, or you're a government agency, or you're a school, or you want your mother to understand just the basics of Bitcoin, you can share that kind of stuff with them so everybody has access to education. When you do want to go deeper, we have all those pro things available to take you through it, as well as our premium Discord. And just right now, we just launched this last Monday. We've been kind of slowly letting the word out about it. We're going to be, of course, pushing more information about this in the near future. But as you can see right here, Ben shared this on his page yesterday. There is a coupon that's available right now for anybody that does want to upgrade to the all access portion. For a limited time, basically throughout the end of this week, you can use Give Me 30 for 30% off your first month for indicators or for courses. You can also just sign up for free.
The banks don't want crypto. That's driving everything. It's very obvious that Ripple is not, XRP as a tradable asset on secondary market is not a security. Trying to make every argument trying to say that it is, but it's simply not. He says he's got $40,000 of current value in Automatic ICP Algo HBAR XRP render. This is from Michael Hodge. Quant, Filecoin, eGold, Near, Optimism. Is this too diverse for 40K? No, I think that's probably dead on for 40K. I think it's a great portfolio. You agree, TJ?
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I would say 10-ish, but yeah, you're.
What's the one thing he doesn't have in there that you would probably like to see him have? I would as well.
I mean, he doesn't have any ETH.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I would try to add some ETH there. I don't think diversifying more, adding ETH is a bad idea. I would definitely say it's got a lot of potential in this bull run, guys. So, guys, if it passes Bitcoin in market cap, which we believe that it will, that thing's going to go up only for a short period of time. Like, it's going to absolutely balloon. That's my opinion, not financial advice.